And there we go. Starting another week of live streams on a Tuesday night. Hello, Mega Leech, already in the chats. Cheers. Not having a gin and tonic. Close, having a Jennifer and soda. No, that's actually good. Jennifer, I should say. My Australian version of Geneva. The Dutch predecessor of gin. It's one of those things that has a place of origin rule around it, I think. You can't call something Geneva unless it comes from Holland and follows particular rules. So cheeky Australian distiller never call their version of it Jennifer. But it's good. Very good. Deviants checking in. Yes, well, we do like it when deviants check in. Do like this Cappy soda water too. It's people who should sponsor me because I like their products. But that's all right. So yeah, we've got an exciting week with a possible Aidsy arrival because he did text me earlier wanting to join. So I have sent him the link. So we'll see if he's paying attention. I don't know. If I don't see or hear from him in half an hour or so, I might send him a reminder like, hey, you said you were going to join. Oh, yeah, that's right. From the list of the Locust Deviants. Yes, I'm with you now. Justin, hello, and Musical Aviator. Musico, which clubs are opening midnight Friday? There will be places in the Melbourne CBD. The places with the post-midnight licenses will be opening at 12:01. I haven't really looked into it because I don't want to do it myself. But there will definitely be places doing it, and I bet they're all already booked out. I'll probably, I don't know, leave it for a little while before I go out in the CBD. Sorry, it's just something that caught my eye, and I was wondering what it was. It's a cork, which is what I thought it was. So, yeah, I'm probably going to leave it for a little while before going out in the CBD. Yeah, I think the Melbourne CBD is going to be pretty goddamn crowded on Friday and Saturday nights. First time anyone's had an opportunity to go out there in months, and there's a bunch of people for whom that is a big deal, and they're going to go there. Yes, this is Megaleech. This is a half upside down and half right way up. I think that's just the design. Should look around here. That one's right side up and those ones are upside down. It's a design choice. I don't think it's an accident. I think it's a design choice. What was going through the head of the designer? I don't know. But to me, this is like, it's like 60s bachelor pad stuff. I like this. I've got a bunch of these coming. In the next, who knows, month it'll take for stuff to arrive. I don't know. Some stuff's apparently in transit. I don't expect it to arrive in a hurry. Could arrive anywhere from tomorrow to a month from now. I'm not sweating it. Justin, when will we get the oh shit COVID spike? If there isn't one in New South Wales, I will be frigging amazed. But yeah, the hope is just whichever way it goes, because of our extraordinarily high rates of vaccination, hospitalizations and deaths are kept comparatively low. Abigail, Murdoch Media just backflipped so hard, made Cirque slightly envious of their acrobatics. That's with their the official change of stance on climate change, which again, immediately I just think it's a fucking scam. There's something behind it. It's a fucking scam. And good evening, Safa. Yeah. What the fuck is going on in Murdochville is anyone's guess, but it's not kosher. Because you got some people in Devonport on the northwest coast in Tassie wearing masks again since the lockdown. That was good to see. I mean, I'll probably wear a mask if I go into the sea. Even outdoor mask mandate goes away. If I go to places where there's lots of people, like the CBD, I will probably wear a mask anyway. Local neighborhood, going for a walk outside in the park, maybe not. Anywhere indoors, I'll be wearing a mask for a friggin' while, like going to the supermarket or shopping anywhere. Again, that's actually as I believe the accepted wisdom is that's a level of protection for yourself, which is great. It's actually a greater level of protection for everyone else. If you actually are contagious, you wearing a mask is very polite to everyone else. Wearing a mask yourself while contagious people are about, it's better than not wearing a mask, but it's not hugely. I don't know. I think I've read different things. It's somewhere between 20 and 50% effective at reducing your chances of contracting, whereas you wearing a mask reduces your chance of transmitting to other people by 70-80%, which is a nice thing to do for other people. Just saying. Justin, will masks be a long-term cultural thing like did in Japan after the 1918 pandemic? I'm going to say you will see them more, but not so much as we have been used to seeing them in some East Asian countries. Too many people like, oh, my freedom, I can't breathe. It's just ridiculous. But what are you going to do? People are assholes. It's as simple as that. So, yeah, you just got to put up with people being assholes. So, I mean, the next thing, like, okay, Australia is racing towards over 90% of over 12s being vaccinated, which in really short time, which, if Morrison wasn't such a fuck up, we could have been at this point 6 months ago, but he's a fuck up and a liar. But we'll get there by Christmas. Yeah, the next thing we're going to see from the anti-vax conspiracy fuckwits is them behaving violently in venues that say you can't come in unless you can prove you're double vaccinated. And they're not going to get any support because, like, they got more support than they deserved in their stupid fucking protests because they're lying, evil scumfucks. But they get no support because it is going to happen. They all talk about it on the social media that they're going to stage violent incidents at venues saying you can't come in unless you're double vaxxed. And yeah, then people, the people are going like, oh, they got a point about freedom. And then they go, oh no, they were just fucking pieces of shit all along. Oh, Safi, you ain't getting no lockdowns know-how in New South Wales with Parrothead as Premier now. And hello, Lee. I did notice that, Justin, Colin Powell died from complications from COVID. It happens. Oh, yeah, Abigail, I was saying the strife between the Libs and the Nats over climate change. If Murdoch can do it, why can't they? The loudmouths in the National Party are not representing farmers when they do that. They are bought and paid for by mining interests who fuck over farmers. The Nationals are the most soulless, evil scum fucks in Australian politics, and that's saying something. Yeah, I think Mega Leech Colin Powell was really unlucky. I mean, he's older, obviously, which puts him at higher risk. What were we up to? Like 90, somewhere between in heavily vaccinated countries, somewhere between 97 and 99% of the people dying are unvaccinated or not fully vaccinated. Yeah, Colin Powell was old and unlucky. But yeah. So what are you going to do? Yes, as you say, when you know, and when a vaccine's 99% effective at stopping you from dying, that ain't 100%. In fact, I think most evidence is it's more than 99% effective at stopping you from dying, depending on a whole range of variables. Somewhere between like 50 and 70 or 80% effective in stopping you from contracting the virus. And then if you do contract the virus, it's like at least 80 or 90% protection against serious illness, and it's high 90s protection against dying, but not 100, not 100. Nothing's 100. Oh, wow. Shit. Safi, you can't get tested because of a 5-hour wait from 10 a.m. in the town. Yeah. It's a bit hectic. It's a bit hectic. Well, hopefully, man, you're just staying safe. That's what it comes down to. I'm taking the Young Angries to get their second dose tomorrow morning, at which point our entire household will be fully vaccinated. I mean, most of the accepted wisdom is takes about 2 weeks to be fully through your system. Mrs. Angry's not far off getting her third shot, her booster, because she works in health, and her second one was like 6 months ago. So she's probably not far, because she's doing COVID related work, not in a hospital. She's likely to get her third shot sometime soon. Ooh, Lee, stepmother got COVID at an exposure site in Victoria. You need to understand, in New South Wales and Victoria, it's literally fucking everywhere. If you go out, you are exposing yourself to the coronavirus and risking coming down with COVID-19. So, get that. I almost feel like I don't need to say get vaccinated, because anyone who's not a fuckwit or doesn't have an actual real medical reason to not get vaccinated is getting vaccinated. So yeah, as opposed to other parts of the world where they've still got to really encourage people because they haven't got great vaccination rates, like it's only like 60, 70% of the adult population. We seem to be racing towards 90+% of over 12s, which is freaking great. So it's kind of like pointless to say, get vaccinated, because everyone who's not a fuckwit is getting vaccinated anyway. Safa, it sucks that Aldi don't home deliver. Yeah, and you don't know whether to food shop online and go to the stores yourself. Yeah, I still go to the supermarkets. Mrs. Angry orders from the supermarkets. Oh no, Megalich, you got 3 people you care about refusing it. Yeah, I'm not sure that there's, at this point, anyone who's convince themselves there's a reason to not be vaccinated, I'm not sure it's possible to reach them, because all the evidence is out there. 95+% of the people being hospitalized aren't fully vaccinated. 99% of the people dying aren't fully vaccinated. It can't get much there. Can't get much fucking clearer than that. So yes, I did see a thing about again 30. It was somewhere between 30 and 40 cops, and I think that also includes the transit officers getting stood down for refusing the vaccine. Yeah, good. Fuck them. Fuck them. They're fucking idiots. And I'm going to go out on a limb and say if they're refusing it, they're also part of extreme conspiracy groups. And in terms of cops, I'm just going to go out on a limb and say they are almost definitely neo-Nazis. So fuck them. Fire them. I'm not joking. It's not hyperbole. Someone who's in the police force who's refusing a vaccination, I'm going to go with a more than 90% chance they're a fucking neo-Nazi. So fuck them. Oh gosh, Jesus, Michael, problems, friendship, and one's a stepchild. Again, with someone you care about, I wouldn't be extreme. I wouldn't be as like, you've seen how aggro I get with anti-vaxxers because I fucking hate it. But if it was someone I cared about, I wouldn't get extreme. But I worry at this point, literally nothing will reach them. Like if they want to say it's a conspiracy and it's like, okay, so why are all the richest people in the world getting the vaccine? If it's a conspiracy of the elites, they are rushing for it. It's the poorer people who can't get it. And the whole thing about, we don't know what's in it. You don't know what's in anything. You don't know what's in anything. You don't know the side effects of anything. But as I say, at this point, I worry that anyone who's still refusing a vaccine, they're unreachable because the position's indefensible at the moment. Like, you actually need an incredibly serious disconnect from reality to still say, I'm not getting the vaccine, because it's just like, you can point to 1,000 reasons to get it, and the only reasons to not get it are made up bullshit. And if someone is clutching on to made up bullshit, what can you do? Again, I'd try and be gentle. I would try and be gentle and say, help me understand. Help me understand what aspect of it is it that is making you not want to get it. And if they say 5G, Bill Gates, you can't reach them. But if they just sort of spout some of the talking points that aren't quite as extreme but are still bullshit, they're actually really easy to refute. And maybe if you gently said, well, you say that, but and there's this, and I don't know, I see this and I see this, and can you provide any evidence for what you're saying? And they can't. But there's all this evidence over here. So I'd still try to be gentle. I would still try to be gentle, but I do worry that anyone who's still refusing to get vaccinated is unreachable. So, you got to try what you can try. Yeah, Lee. Well, see, okay, you're saying you had people say you'd die if you got the vaccine, and you didn't. And it's like, and okay, like the most extreme of the conspiracies going around, and they're almost universally anti-vaxxers, are the QAnon crowd. And when you look at the whole Q thing, and one thing that got a few people out of QAnon is because there's been, I don't even know how many predictions, whether it's a dozen or more, that goes, event X will happen at date Y, and it didn't happen. And they're okay, no, this, and they keep changing it. And I think there's been at least a dozen of these things that haven't happened. And it has actually helped some people get out, and they're going, wait. I fucking believe this. I've lost all my friends and whatnot. And I basically have now incontrovertible evidence that it's bullshit. What the fuck? But if someone's still in QAnon, I think they're unreachable, because, I mean, how many times does something have to be proved categorically wrong before someone goes, oh, I don't think this is real? So, I mean, that's the one where these people just aren't in touch with reality. Justin, your best friend's cousin was shamed into getting vaccinated. Well, whatever fucking works. Like I said, job stuff, being able to go out, all that. Just saying, yeah, you know what? You don't get vaxxed. Fuck you. No job for you. No going out for you. If that pushes a couple of people over the line, fucking good. Because, and that's the thing, and again, the people who cite, oh, there's this evidence that, there's something wrong. It's like, yeah, and it's literally, and you can die because of an adverse reaction to the vaccine. It's literally 1 in a million. The risk of you being hospitalized with complications is about 1 in 10,000. The risk of you ending up in intensive care because of complications are about 1 in 100,000. The risk of you dying is about 1 in a million. Contract COVID and see what your odds are. The risks of you ending up in hospital somewhere between 1 in 10 and 1 in 5. And the risk of you ending up in intensive care is about 1 in 20. The risk of you dying is about 1 or 2 in 100. And it's the idea of saying, I won't take the vaccine because of a 1 in a million chance of dying, when we actually know incontrovertibly the chances of you dying after contracting COVID, if you're not in a high risk group, are like 1 or 2%. It's just like ridiculous. You go with that Canberra pride, Justin. Canberra get to 99% double vaxxed. Town full of smart people working for the government. Possibly working for the government was a big part of it, because you can't keep your government job if you don't get double vaxxed. Safa, how much would Melbourne Cup be a hotspot? I would not fuck. Oh, it's outdoors, so that's a plus. But I would not go to a gathering the size of any of the spring racing carnival things. No fucking way. No fucking way. But yeah, a lot of cases will come out of the big race meets in the spring racing carnival. As I said, we just have to hope with the vaccination, because I don't think you'll be able to go to them if you're not double vaccinated. Just hope that because of the vaccination rates, hospitalization and death is very low. Yeah, it's this thing. Music Wave Edit, it's like we have these statistics. The chance of dying as a complication from the vaccines, 1 in a million. Chance of dying from COVID is 1 or 2%. And I mean, I've known, my God, there's a case, of an older person, I mean like over 80, who was emphysemic, saying they didn't want to get the vaccine. And I was going, okay, if you do not get vaccinated, you're over 80 and emphysemic. If you do not get vaccinated, it is basically inevitable. Within 2 years, you will get COVID, because it's going to keep circulating. So if you are not vaccinated, it is basically inevitable you will get COVID. At best, there's a 50-50 chance that you will contract COVID. Now, if you get COVID because of your age and you already have a lung disease, there's a minimum 50-50 chance you're getting it bad. And I mean, just feeling, even if you never end up in hospital, weeks or months of just feeling fucked. And that's best case scenario, 50-50 chance of getting it bad. And if you get it bad, there's a 50-50 chance you're in hospital. And if you end up in hospital, there's a 50-50 chance you're not coming out. So it's like you're worried about this 1 in a million chance of vaccine complication killing you. Whereas given your age and the fact you have a really bad lung disease already, there's somewhere between a 1 in 5 and 1 in 10 chance you'll be dead in 2 years if you don't get vaccinated. It's just, you can lay it out for someone and go, this is facts. We have this. We actually have the incontrovertible evidence of this. And some people will still, and it's like, all right, I don't know, whatever. Let me see. Oh, you see, I have a lot of hair on my head. How long till a significant amount of hair? I don't know. I'm enjoying growing my hair. And that's very much a COVID thing. And also letting it go grey is also very much a COVID thing. Kind of enjoying it. I like it. I've had, in the last 18 months, I've had 2 trims. And I haven't had one for months. Maybe 6 months. I don't even know. Fucking time. Time doesn't mean anything, man. But yes. Yeah, just I'm very wary of the whole talking about vaccinated people, talking about underlying health conditions or age, because and I don't think you're doing this, by the way, but the way some people say it, I worry they're saying those people aren't worth as much. Pre-existing health condition, well, you're not worth as much. And I know you're not saying it, but I'm just very cautious about using those terms because the way some people use them is really creepy. Jeremy, hello. If you had to deal with people blaming you, New South Wales government make the rules on what people can't do. Sorry, Karen, I don't make the rules. Oh, yeah, the next couple months are going to be a bit fucking harsh for people in retail, service jobs, hospitality, because a small number of psychopaths are going to cause trouble. I'm going to make a special drink. I was looking. I might make 2 special drinks depending what mood I'm in. My Death & Co. Cocktail book. And I'm going to do a version of this, the Swearingen Sling, with cherries, whiskey, and Amaro, and a cherry liqueur, and lemon juice. I'm doing that. The Swearingen Sling. And this is shaken, and I've got to muddle my cherries. They say brandy cherries. I'm using my maraschino cherries. Get my cocktail shaker. Strainer. All right. So, cocktail shaker. I'm going to get a spoon because I'm going to get a couple of these maraschino cherries. I think this is going to be good. Okay. You go, only people with pre-existing health conditions. I was saying that to Easy. Yeah. Ugh. Your musical evidence, you have enough pre-existing health conditions, a 15th century version of you would be dead. Yeah. Yeah, we do live in wondrous times where we don't have to die. Okay. So some cherries, and I'm meant to muddle them. So I've got my muddler. Actually, from Mrs. Angry's Mortar and Pestle. Just squish them. Squish them. Squish them. Justin, has he had a booster shot yet? No. Actually, I should message him and tell him I send him a link. I said I'd do that in half an hour, and it's half an hour. Well, I'll make this, and then I'll message you. So muddled the cherries. What do we want? A whiskey. They say bullet bourbon, but I'm going to use one of my Australian whiskies. Which one will we use? Unexpected. Ginger beer cask. No. No. Yes. No. 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 Maybe. I don't know. Can you repeat that? I'm going to use Nova. All right. 2 Oz of whiskey. And that shouldn't have gone in there, but that's okay. Yes, no, maybe. Now, I've got to get an Amaro and cherry, and Amaro. Okay. We want those two. Right, I put the whiskey straight in my glass because I'm a wally. There you go. In the fucking shaker. There you go. Yes, Justin, you're right. Nazis would have killed people with autism. In fact, they did. Abigail, I read there's going to be an announcement about boosters in the next couple of weeks. I think that's currently being planned. Who should get boosters first? And I think it's going to be the frontline workers, particularly health workers, older people, and people with pre-existing conditions will be the first ones to get boosters. But I think that's going to come out officially in the next couple of weeks. So, okay, so half ounce of all these other things. Cherry. So, yes. And that's what I mentioned before. Mrs. Angry working in health, and the fact it's been 6 months since she had her second dose. I think she's expecting to get news of a booster very soon. All right, Amaro Montenegro. What do we want? Lemon juice and simple syrup. Okay. You just go to with your 10-kilometer radius walking girlfriend, and she thinks she would have been burned as a witch. Thinks she'd be fine if she joined a gypsy caravan. Well, again, I'm talking about the Nazis. The Nazis murdered the Romani. Again, not fit people. And certainly the Romani have been persecuted by more than just the Nazis over the years too. So what do we do? Lemon juice and simple syrup. Okay. I'm going to use this syrup. Put that in there. And some lemon juice. Yes, Jeremy, the other thing about, well, not every splinter got infected and killed you, but because we've probably all had a splinter get infected, and there were periods in history where an infection stood a good chance of killing you. So I need ice. I need to put ice in my shaker. All right. Right, that's probably enough ice. Where'd I put the lid? All right, spoon. Safi almost got burgered by a 4-year-old Romani in Ukrainian train. So, yeah, apparently European trains and train stations can be a bit of a thing. Okay. And yes, you're right, Abigail. I did consciously use Romani instead of Gypsy because many people regard it as so, although many don't, or some don't. Kind of like African Americans in the N-word. I ain't going to use it. If people want to claim it for themselves, that's their call. All right. And I get to treat myself with another E. Yeah, Lee, that's now more common. Asperger's syndrome was regarded as a less, for a while, was regarded as a less, what's the word I'm looking for? It was regarded as a term that had less stigma than autism. But then people found out the guy that it's named after was a friggin' Nazi and was not great. And people have said, no, I'm fine with being autistic, actually. Fuck Asperger. Safa, eager to get your green peas. Nice. Nice colour because of the cherries, actually. All right. So this is a riff on a Swearingen sling. That's good. That's good. All right. I'm going to text Aidsy because I sent him the link and he hasn't appeared. I start typing sent to Aidsy and it auto completes to sent you the link because that's the most common text message I send him. Yeah. I like when the drink's a nice colour. Or the cherry that's made it go this colour. That's a pretty good drink too. Yeah, no, that's good. I like that. So what's in it? It's like they've gone. It's the Manhattan. Oh, it's a weird hybrid. It's like a sour, but then they've put the modifier that a Manhattan is. So it's the bastard child of a Manhattan and a sour. Oh, thanks, Lee. It's nice to be missed, but is it bad that I haven't completely missed socializing? Okay, Aidsy replied, so maybe I woke him up. Aidsy says it's not showing. I think if he looks, it will. I'm just going to send it to him again, even though I've sent it once. I think he was distracted. It's okay. I've sent it to him again. Yes, that's the way to do it, Safa. Say his name 3 times. 80s guy. Yes. I'm glad you like the shirt. I've got a whole bunch of these. No, I'm glad you like the shirt, man. I'm taking it. I just took that as a genuine you like the shirt. And it's one of the things I've been doing during lockdown. Buying a bunch of these retro shirts to brighten up my days and nights. And I just ordered a bunch more. I'd been really restrained. I hadn't ordered any for, I don't know, months. And I was like, fuck it, look, they've got some cool designs. I want them. So I got another half dozen cocktail themed shirts coming. So some really different designs, really different. Because I've got about three or maybe 4 that are kind of like variations on this design. But I'm getting a half dozen with really different designs. Safa, no, there will never be zero COVID again. What we want is 0 deaths or a very small number of deaths. And what we want is hospitals to not be overrun. But we ain't getting 0 COVID again. Thank you, Gladys fucking Berejiklian, and your fucked up attitude. Because we could have, if they had taken the proper steps that every other state leader took when there was an outbreak, it could have been contained. But they fucking didn't, and it fucking wasn't, and fuck them. But, you know, we go to the new phase now where we just accept the fact that COVID is always around. We'll end up with over 90% of the population vaccinated. And we just hope that keeps hospitalizations and fatalities down. That is a really fun fruity drink. And the only fruit is the lemon juice and the cherries. Oh man. And that's like 3 ounces of alcohol, 90 mils of alcohol. Only 2 ounces of like spirit. Oh, Jesus, the cherry liqueur is 31%. What's the Amaro Montenegro? What does 23%? Okay. So that's 2.5, 3 standard drinks. Somewhere in the region of 2, 3 standard drinks. Safi, your last trip, Melbourne nightclub 3 a.m. Yeah, Abigail, we will be back to next winter in particular, a normal flu season, and an additional who knows how many thousand COVID deaths as well, because it's just the way it's going to be. 80s guy, you're saying COVID virus has been around longer than modern humans. Well, it's it's the mutation that's dangerous. It's a coronavirus. So, okay. And again, hey, I'm going to be pedantic. COVID is the illness. The virus is a coronavirus. And yes, coronaviruses, rhinoviruses, and various other respiratory infections have been around forever. This just happened to be a particular variant that was quite dangerous and like very dangerous. How many friggin' million people have died? But yes. So yes, coronaviruses, rhinoviruses, other respiratory illnesses, been around forever. We're just lucky that the really dangerous mutations don't happen that often. Justin, you want to go to Melbourne and get your friend a Grinder account? You got to teach him how to use it. Well, what are friends for? That's what I'm saying. What are friends for? To help friends get some action, really. So, yeah, I mean, hopefully by summer, nothing spirals out of control and we're in some version of a weird new normal. Thanks for the update, Megaleech. 4.9 million worldwide deaths confirmed. So the actual real numbers probably double that. Safa, I don't know what those rules are with regards to people from New South Wales being allowed to go to Melbourne. Regional Vic, not Regional Vic can, but they have to have a specific region. It's Metro Melbourne can't go to Regional Vic because we try not to infect them. Hellion, hello, Kirsten. Justin, your friend's far too sheltered. Needs to get out more. Well, that's what friends are for. It's you to help them to get out of that. Oh, Kirsten, I was going to ask you if you're on the Marionette mailing list, because I got the thing today saying they're bringing out a bitter curacao, which I'm really tempted, because they make such good liqueurs. I think their bitter curacao, which again would be an alternative for Campari, I suspect it would be really good. But of course, you did get yes. So I'm very tempted. Apparently available next week. So music over Melbourne can't go anywhere except Melbourne. Sydney can't go to regional New South Wales, but can go to regional. I don't know. Who the fuck knows what's happening with these rules? So yes, I'm looking out for various mailings from the what do we call it? Distillers that I'm on the mailing list for. and Starwood have something special coming out next week or the week after too. Oh, Kirsten, so you got the download from the co-founder at Marionette. See, my benchmark is always where is it on bitterness compared to Campari, because like I would put Applewood's Oka bitter as exactly as bitter as Campari, which is too bitter for me. It's a better flavor than Campari, but it's too bitter for me. Whereas the what's that one that you convinced me to get? The Autonomy Amaro, which is nice. It is definitely bitter, but it's not too bitter. So yeah, that's my question about the Marionette one. Where is it on the spectrum of bitterness? So Abigail, trying to convince 16-year-old son butting a plastic bag over his head is a bad idea. Oh no. If it's even written on the plastic bags, don't put this over your head. So 80s guy, lifelong obsessed with death, disease, fire, war, bioweapons. Spend a lot of time in books and journals. Explain, thank you. Didn't mention it in terms of bitterness. Okay. Well, I'm kind of prepared to take a risk with Marionette because I got so many of their liqueurs and they're so good. And it would probably be an excuse to get something else of theirs that I don't have to, maximize the benefit of the postage. I get the amaretto as well. I imagine their amaretto is very good. So for technically, you can come over to Drinks Frankers on Friday. Yes, technically, I can have visitors in the house. Whether Mrs. Angry wants people in the house, another thing. Safa, you think Mensa is rude to people not high IQ? Mensa is a classic example of being smart doesn't stop you from being scammed. Mensa is a scam to trick people into paying membership fees. It's that simple. Speaking of smart and still getting fooled, it's AZ.
How you going?
Good. How you doing, man?
Good. I'm sorry I'm late. I was just finishing off some charity work.
That's okay.
Charity work. So I'm making embossed Futanari flip books for the blind. And,
of course.
It's important they get their share of Japanese culture like the rest of us.
It is. It's good.
That one hand and then the other. Anyway, and I was also finishing off some brony porn that it started last year, but the project got stopped halfway through as one of the team members had to do some prison time. So he's out now.
Okay.
More ways than one, I suppose, really. And so that'll be coming out in mid-January.
Okay.
Done. Yourself, how you doing?
Doing pretty good. You're
looking surprisingly like Mark Hamill. That was the first thing that came to my mind. Like, is that Jedi Mark Hamill, or is that Angry Aussie, your worthwhile pal, and oft-time employer? Is that man? Because he's looking good. He's looking. I mean, I did feel some force power today, and I'm thinking probably angry.
Yeah.
I got that get off your ass and do some work feeling, and I ignored the fuck out of that. I just went, no, I'm locked in for a reason. It's because of public disease.
Has this is a question that's come up in the chat.
Yeah.
Has anyone in medical world talked to you about getting a third booster? Like
yes. Yes, they have.
What's the word on that front?
As soon as they're available, I'm getting an actual phone call to come in immediately.
Okay, yeah, we were talking about this bit earlier. I read today. I think there's going to be an official statement on boosters in a week or two. Soon, there's going to be official thing like, okay, we spent a whole bunch of time crunching the numbers, looking at supply, looking at who's vaccinated, blah blah blah. Okay, the following people qualify for a booster, and you'll be one of them. Yeah,
I will. Sorry.
Everyone's excited. Safa, it's not a phone call. That's although it's a very long message tone. That's AZ's message tone. I'm familiar with it. I'm one of those people who just has a ding for a message tone. AZ plays an entire song for a message tone, but variety.
I'm relative when I'm walking down the street, do a diddy diddy dum diddy dee. I can't hear shit due to the traffic noise and people going, "Hey, Ezzy, looking good, woo, nice dick," stuff like that. And
that drowns out everything else. Yeah,
it does, and I listen for that. I'm ears up for that.
Yeah.
Charles, you can't. I'm like,
yeah.
So I get noticed, and I don't hear my tone. So
I've always been tempted. I've been mildly tempted to get a smart watch again. I had one very briefly years ago, and when you sync them to your phone, they're great for not missing texts and calls, because even when the phone's in the pocket on vibrate, where theoretically I'd feel it vibrating against my thigh, I don't always, but for some reason with a phone on the wrist which vibrates, I never miss that. And then also when the thing vibrates your wrist, you do a quick look. Is that something I want to answer right now? No. So I haven't had a smartphone for watch for ages, but I'm always kind of thinking that I might. I don't know.
Do you want me to have one, and I'll do a review? What do you call it? Not a review. It is a review, isn't it?
Yeah, I was about to say. I think you are talking about doing a review. Well, see, that's the thing with new ones coming out, and I'm thinking this on both my phone and possibly watch, because with new ones coming out, maybe the existing ones will be cheaper. Oh no, you like this one from Abigail AZ. Last time I crashed at your place, I felt you vibrating on my thigh. Not happy. Well, you did. You fall asleep on my lounge. Anything could happen. Anything consensual. I want to admit, anything consensual. Oh my god! Which just reminds. Oh, I think AZ is getting booty calls. That look is like he's getting booty calls on the texts.
Look, I'm just gonna break out of happy AZ character for a second and say I've had kind of a month, and this week crescendoed into
shit time.
Shit. On top of the other spectacular shit that was going down. So basically I've had a lot of personal trouble lately, and it's been very difficult, and I just had a lot of house trouble and in the last 2 weeks, but in the last week it just blew up, and it was effectively why I was fucking late tonight, and this is basically telling me there's a resolution to some of it, which is just fucking spectacular. And I've got to deal with it, but I will deal with it later. But I've just got to respond saying that I will.
Sorry, I'm just looking at. I've got my big what looks like Bible here. What is that? Stirred over ice? Okay. Thinking of again doing my own variation of one that's in here, a mezcal drink called A Perfect Crime. So I just need to go here decide. Actually, having just been speaking about the marionette people, which of the marionette fruit liqueurs I'm going to put in this drink. They say framboise, which is actually no, it's described here. Framboise, an aperitif. That okay? So framboise is raspberries. Framboise is a raspberry cognac liqueur. Now I think I've got like black currant, red currant. Okay, I'm gonna look of the fruit liqueurs I have. I don't think I have a raspberry one. Okay, I've got. Let's see. So that's black currant.
Attention on you, because you're
What?
pretty. I'm just saying. Thank you for your patience, and thank you for telling me I'm pretty, and I am pretty.
Because this one's almost empty. So if I use some of it up, there's like some shelf space. And what I love about shelf space is that's an excuse to buy something else.
I wasn't going to go there. I was going to go
Yeah.
shelf space is your you're seeking perfection through Zen minimalism.
Yeah.
But I've noticed your liquor cabinet, and that's not Zen minimalism.
It is not. It is not. Oh, okay. So I need to put a couple. I need to put this away. Put the cherry away.
Putting it away.
No,
putting things away.
Where's my mezcal? Because I got some new mezcal. Mezcal with the name Death Squad. So
where's mezcal? Bring them at once. That's like Lord's name.
A mezcal called Peloton de la Muerte, and I put that into Google Translate, and it's Death Squad.
Yeah. I have a blasphemer here. He's gone against church and wears native feathers in his hair.
So mezcal, a fruit liqueur, amaro. Okay, a syrup. I do have. They say, you know what? I think I'm going to just use some of my cherry syrup because I got cherries here. And syrup that I don't know what to do with. So, as Kirsten's saying, if I don't have Zen minimalism. Oh, yes. No. What is the opposite of Zen minimalism? Because me with my 100 bottles and Kirsten with her 500 bottles. So, you know.
Hoarding? Yeah.
But it's not hoarding if you drink it and go through it as well. It would be hoarding if you
It would be hoarding if you took it off the shelves, looked at it, repacked it, and put it back again.
Yeah.
No, don't go there.
No. So actually, Kirsten, genuine question. How many bottles do you keep? Oh my God. Sorry, dude, you would fucking love this. Again, when we're allowed to visit and stuff.
Yeah.
This is like mezcal is the smoky version of tequila. And this is a bit sweeter and lighter than some mezcals, but it's just got that barbecue smoke. It's like it's barbecue but made of alcohol, and it's just like, my God.
Well, here's me going back to my Hitler Jungen past with my Fanta.
Oh yes, for those who don't know, Fanta's actually a Nazi drink. That's real. That's a real thing.
Reminds me of my youth.
The Hitler youth. Yes.
I am that old, and was reminded of that today.
Oh God, I hate it when people remind us of our fucking age. But you know, embrace it, I say.
I was talking to one of the ladies that live in the flats today.
Yeah.
And for some reason, it got onto Star Wars.
Yeah.
She was gone. Yeah, I liked Star Wars when it came out, but there was two really different sets of cartoons, and I couldn't get the two styles to mesh in my head, so I sort of went off it.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. I see.
It's all about what age you were, what was the first thing you saw. But mind you, a lot of the Star Wars animation is very good. Like it's not just good animation, it's very good storytelling as well.
Yeah, no, there's fucking nothing wrong with the Star Wars animation. There was two distinct types. There was cell animation and there was computer animation, effectively taking an extension of the same story. Effectively, there's differences, but it's effectively, and concentrating on the two different generations of Jedi. And there was a really lovely episode of young Anakin Skywalker having to go on his morals journey. And it was an animation, and he had a vision quest to go on before he went on this, heroes quest.
Yes.
And they were basically pictographs drawing themselves on his body, and it told his story and how he becomes the monster that he's trying to kill.
That's the Genndy Tartakovsky.
Him, and of course we know what's going to happen because we're all up with our pen, but he doesn't, and he didn't listen to the drawing worms.
No. For those unfamiliar with it, this was a series of short animations that came out between prequel 2 and 3, I think, called The Clone Wars. Directed, and the art style was done by Genndy Tartakovsky. He was a Russian migrant who did the Powerpuff Girls and Samurai Jack for Cartoon Network, and they fucking rock. And again, if you have Disney Plus now, you can see all of these on there, and they're very good. And then the later generation Clone Wars animations are CG, which are also good.
They're very good too.
But the Genndy Tartakovsky ones, they actually fill in story between prequel 2 and 3, and that has serious emotional arcs in it.
It's actually important. I didn't realise how important it was, actually, until someone sort of gave me the mail on that. And when the prequels come out, I was one of the 3 people in the world who didn't complain or refused to complain. And then someone said, it makes actually a lot more sense if you go and watch these animations.
Yeah.
And I did, and I went, actually, yes, I see a lot of what happened between here and here. Because, there's this little kid running around, and then all of a sudden, Anakin and Obi-Wan are best mates, and he's like, "How the fuck did that happen?" And then you find out how that happened. And of course, in the first couple of movies that only old people got to see, Obi-Wan, who was very old by that point, says to Luke, who was very young by that point, your father was one of my best friends. And you go, well, how the fuck is that going to happen? And then you find out how it all turns up.
There's a cut someone did on YouTube. The video is called Obi-Wan Has PTSD. And you do it, and it cuts between Obi-Wan saying that stuff to Luke about your father, who was Darth Vader, and it cuts with stuff that happened in the prequels. And Alec Guinness just does pauses between lines and just goes, "Oh, I knew your father," and then there's a cut of something horrible, and you put it together and you go like, no, Obi-Wan's got PTSD really fucking badly, really. It wasn't just his friend. It wasn't just his protege. As he says in the prequel, you were the chosen one. Obi-Wan was a religious, true believer, and he was betrayed in his beliefs, and that wrenched at his soul. I love that Kirsten's throwing in, we're doing spoilers. We are literally doing spoilers for.
But the only person in the Star Wars fucking canon that was more religious than Obi-Wan was Yoda and possibly Mace Windu.
Yeah.
Possibly.
Also, I want to throw in with the most recent trilogy, which I think was okay. I think The Force Awakens was great. I think The Last Jedi is one of the best of the saga movies. Its only challenger, in my opinion, is Empire Strikes Back.
Shit.
And
I haven't seen that one.
But fucking Rise of Skywalker, the last one, is embarrassing. But I had a point when I started saying that. What were we talking about? I was going to say something about fucking last year. Oh, Luke, because Luke nopes out. The whole thing they said is Luke disappeared. And a lot of people going, oh, I don't agree with that. And I was going, okay, have you watched Star Wars?
Yeah.
When we meet Obi-Wan, what is he? He's hiding in the fucking desert because everything went wrong. We meet Yoda, the most powerful Jedi for millennia. He's hiding on some fucking swamp planet
because things went
because everything fucked up. So when Luke tried to start everything up and it fucked up, he noped the fuck out and went and lived on some really. That is what Jedi do. Jedi fuck up and go, well, Jesus, I fucked up. I'm out.
Time to involve my tent and become a sand person.
Yeah. Yeah, it's kind of like some of those complaints. It's like, have you watched Star Wars? Do you know Star Wars at all? But anyway.
What I used to really get shit about was people my age seeing the prequels and going, oh, it's fucking terrible as fuck. And I was saying, mate, when you saw Star Wars for the first time, you were 7.
Yes.
If you watch Star Wars again now with a super critical eye, you can drive fucking trucks. Holes in that movie.
The plot holes are ridiculous. The plot holes are ridiculous.
Okay, so fucking Leia is comforting fucking Luke because he lost fucking Obi-Wan, a guy he's known for approximately 3 days after she just lost her home fucking planet.
Yeah.
You know, it's not quite the same scale.
Possibly the funniest thing Robot Chicken did in all their Star Wars stuff. Again, that's Star Wars parody made by people who love Star Wars. And they do that one where Luke's going, I can't believe Ben's gone. And Leia goes, did the old man that you met 2 days ago die just after my whole planet never and ever knew was blown up and you feel bad? That sucks to be you. And walks off. And then if they topped it with R2 doing a beep and the caption for R2's beep was, ooh, burn.
That's right. It did too. I remember that, ooh, burn. Yeah.
Robot Chicken was really good at pointing out the flaws and the plot holes in Star Wars because it's done by fans who love it to death.
Yeah.
And so they're not saying this is shit because it's got a plot hole. It's going, I love it, but it's actually really funny if you put a spotlight on that plot hole because the plot hole's really dumb.
And this is the thing. This is the thing that used to shit me. Was the guys that I was talking to were saying, oh, you know, the first proper through were brilliant. And it's like, no, they were good. They were really good.
They were great adventure
but
movies.
They weren't brilliant, right?
No.
Fucking, you know, Ran, it fucking wasn't. It was really good space western in the sky, done well with the best special effects available, which today are embarrassing, but back then they got Oscars. Lucas invented a company called Industrial Light and Magic to make that fucking film. And ILM is still fucking one of the fucking big balls, heavyweights at the table.
Oh, yeah.
You put them, Pixar and fucking Weta next to each other and you go, oh, I can't fucking move for the fucking steel balls. You know, it's ridiculous.
They're magicians. Collectively, they're just
What
magicians.
sorcery is that? Is all I like to say.
Yeah.
Those guys work, and they all check each other out. It's embarrassing because you know you read their blog posts and fucking it's all full of I just went and seen the next Weta flick. I went and seen the Pixar flick. I went and seen the fucking ILM flick, and it's like you guys do nothing but check each other out and go, oh, how'd you do that? Oh, how'd you get that happening? Oh, she's really fucking good, right? Fucking ring her up and see she'll come over to fucking Skywalker Ranch and fucking good. I reckon they just make fucking films to have place settings, for like scoreboard.
That's fair.
So much better than they could. We only had to use 88 petabytes of computing power over 6 days to do it. What's his name? Jackson fucking gives away his render computers to universities and libraries every few years because he's got to be current.
Because he wants to buy new ones. He's like, okay, that was the cutting edge 3 years ago, but it no longer serves my purpose. I'm going to give it to a New Zealand university.
So it's not, he doesn't do the whole, I'll just tack on fucking another render farm on top of it.
He changes everything.
Like I'll just take the whole lot and give it away and then just, get a whole new one because I'm, richer than most banks. And that's why he stays with most banks.
You made me think of one of the stories because I haven't watched it for a while, but I feel like I want to watch the Lord of the Rings movies with the commentary track on again and the extra features because I got the box set that's like of DVDs because I'm old. It's not 4K or Blu-ray. It's DVDs. Box set with the extended versions of the movies, commentary tracks, and all the makings of. And still, probably my favorite story was one of the guys. He had, I think it was The Return of the King. The final render was on a hard drive on this laptop. It's the whole hard drive was the movie, and it was the final cut. And he was taking it to the studio office somewhere in London, and he's got this laptop. And some bad dudes start following him, and he's just gone, they've seen I'm carrying a laptop. They want to rob me. Oh no, it's not that it's a laptop. It's got the Lord of the Rings. And he's freaking out because he's in one of the suburbs of he's like in inner London, and these bad dudes are following him, and he's like, they can't get me. It just cannot happen. They cannot.
His IP was more than my life.
And so he's running down the street, clutching this laptop with these bad dudes. And I just thought, that's the funniest. Because what would your mental state be? What would your mental state be?
I'd be losing my shit. We had a guy who lived here, and I can say it now because he's burned himself out, and he's gone. He wouldn't watch us anyway. He came up to mine freaking out and said, I need the security cameras now. And I was going, there's no now about our security cameras. I've got to borrow a fucking monitor. Then I've got to find the thing that you're looking for. And then I've got to fucking dub it off to a thumb drive. And then I've got to check the render. And then you can have it. And that process takes 4 hours. There's nothing now about the cameras, okay? And he's like, oh, my God, I'm freaking out. Someone stole my bag from outside my door. And I'm going, oh, that means someone got in the house. That's not good. So I'm quizzing him about this, and he says, oh, I can't stay. I've got to go because someone stole my car. Room. Anyway, I find out later, no one stole his bag from out of his room.
Yeah.
They stole his car with his bag in it and his keys in the car.
Oh, and God.
He basically parked just near the clearway. Clever move. Not creating any attention at all. then goes over the road to the bottle shop and buys himself enough whiskey Bahar to dull his pain while ingesting very heavy benzodiazepines. And I can say to you now that this is not a recommended course of action. The benzodiazepines
not good. It's not good.
And believe you me, when I was starting them, we had some funny times with AZ.
Yeah.
I lost some good friends over that, and I was banned from 2 shops from some of the shit I did when I didn't drink when I was on this shit.
Yeah.
And I was just fucked up.
So
but he did.
Really quickly, I want to tie what you're saying in with Lord of the Rings, because I read this bizarre parody done by the Harvard Lampoon, which eventually was the people who started National Lampoon, called Board of the Rings, which was done in the 70s. And those who know Lord of the Rings, I know, it's great. It's very silly and it's great. For those who know the Lord of the Rings, Tom Bombadil is a funny, if nonsensical character in it. And in Lord of the Rings, his name's Tim Benzedrine. So just when he was talking about doing benzos, it's like, that's how you do a lot of stuff that makes no sense if you're on benzos. So, AZ.
So basically we find out, because he comes back later after finding out the shop next door had their camera on, and he was able to get the camera data to the police quickly. And the police go, well, it's a stolen car. We'll look for it. And he said, I don't actually give a fuck about the car. It's the bag that's important. And they're going, that's a fairly expensive-ish car you've got there. It's a Mercedes. Yeah. I can, fuck it, I don't care. It's a Mercedes. And he says, I don't care about the Mercedes. I care about the bag. And they're saying, looks like a shitty Puma bag that was sold in the 80s. And he's going, fine, the laptop in the bag has IP on it from one of my clients, and they're worth $80 million. To us, they're worth $20 million. If I don't get that back, they're going to want their $20 million from me. So I need that fucking bag.
Yeah.
And he said to the cops, I will fucking give you the car if you can get it.
if you find the car, it's yours.
And one of the younger coppers went, I'm on for that, and rang around. And because this younger copper apparently thought, I'm in this. I will get this. And the older copper said, doesn't work that way, mate.
No, he may have said you can have the car, but you can't really have the car. We can't
accept the car. Yeah. There is all kinds of paperwork going to happen in a legal sense. Anyway, but he found the car, and the guy who stole the car stopped outside another shop. And the shop that he stopped outside of was another bottle shop, and the bottle shop owner, who didn't like this guy, noticed that he's turned up in a newish Mercedes, got a bag, looked at it, and then just dumped it in the bin, and gone, this doesn't look sus at all.
Yes.
Guy who comes and buys really shitty low rent booze has suddenly turned up in a fairly nice Mercedes, checked out a bag that's full of stuff and chucked it away. Yeah, no, I think I'll be calling this one in. Did so. The words got back to the coppers. They've got the shopkeeper said on the phone he's chucked a bag in a bin, and the coppers have said, we will give you money if you stop the garbage truck from taking the bin. And so he went out and got the bag out of the bin and put it behind the counter. And sure enough, the car and bag were in its correct place in the clearway later on that afternoon. I had to raise all kinds of alarm to get this thing moving, because this guy was really freaking out. And I said, we have to have a talk, because if someone got in the house, that means there's a key in the wind, and there's a master key for the main front door, back door, and backyard. I haven't checked the backyard. Fuck. And basically, if those keys go missing, they're highly expensive to replace. So they're not replaced often, and they're highly difficult. You can't cut them. You can't just take these keys down to Mr. Minute and go give me a new one, and they won't. You know, I tried it in many places to see how effective the rules are, because I got told, no, you can't get a copy of these keys. And I thought, I might be able to. No. I mean, I'm good at getting people to do stuff they shouldn't do, right? I'm really fucking good at it. But, no. They all turn around and say, oh, no, it's a do not copy key, mate. It's a master key. And I go, oh, yeah, I know. It's my key. I need a spare. Oh, well, you better go back to real estate and get a spare. They don't. No, we don't do it. It has to be from the locksmith. We probably don't have the blanks for these, is what they all say. It's like a script.
Yes.
You've got to go back to
it is a script.
Probably don't have the blanks for these. It's like, you do have the fucking blanks. I know you do. But they have a code amongst themselves. They do not copy. Do not copy keys. And on the key it says do not copy. The thing about the do not copy keys is if you get one, what it means is they're not going to change those locks, because that is a hella expensive exercise right there. And if you're not going to change those locks, that means that key is viable for fucking years to come. Yeah. So if you manage to snag one from a block of flats, you are in whenever you want. It's difficult to steal shit from a block of flats, because if you go around starting to shake hands with doors and someone sees you, you're fucked. They will immediately raise the alarm, and lots of people will be asking you awkward questions in a tight corridor which you can't run away from. And that happened. We had a guy who came in at 10:30 at night, was shaking hands with doors with a set of keys that he had to get in. And at the time, we had a set of keys in the wind. It was a problem because the person who put them in the wind didn't bother to tell me for 2 days. I was getting phone calls, let me in, I've locked myself out. I'm going, where are your keys? And then she said, oh, I put them on the letterbox and someone took them. I'm going,
that's a problem. That's a problem.
Ice cream headache style fucking aneurysm going on. And I'm going, what time, when, and I had a look at the fucking video cameras, which I see in the night ones, and I saw at fucking 4:30 in the morning someone put their hand up on the letterbox and just snag them and go. Never saw a face. It was a female. That's what I got. And I'm just going, and what was really annoying was that person who took the keys obviously saw this person put the keys on the letterbox. Was probably across the road and saw it. Anyway, I'm just going, you fucking idiot. And then I've had to alert the correct people. And the correct people were pissed. Shit you'll tend to find in your life, viewers, goes downhill. And I am pretty much at the bottom of the hill.
You're at the bottom of shit hill.
So when I ring upstairs and the loud and voluminous avalanche of shit comes back down, I end up drinking most of it away. And I was dreading making the call because the next question is, how long have they been missing? And I have to then go 3 days. And I've gone, did you not maybe think to warn us earlier, Aidsy? perhaps a little bit of fucking urgency might have been on the cards there, because this is the thing you ring up home for. There are three things you ring home for.
Yeah.
Fire, actual liable injuries on the property, and keys in the wind. And I didn't find out, so I had to tell them I didn't know. And they were pissed that I didn't know, because I'm supposed to have my finger on every kind of pulse in work. Yeah. And of course, with 18 fucking young adults running around doing their own thing, I of course know everything.
Yeah.
I didn't know a lot of things though. Anyway, so this goes on. Fucking this individual turns up. We've got keys in the wind. He's shaking hands with the door, and there's one woman who lives in the house. It's visiting someone else who lives in the house, another woman. Yeah. And she comes out because she hears rattle, 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 and heard it on their door. And she comes out and sees this guy doing this and goes, what are you doing?
What's your fucking story?
Inside the flat, locks the door.
Oh, shit.
In the hallway to this fucking guy who's looking dodgy. And then she starts fucking yelling, and I'm going, I don't like that sound. And I bolt down there, swiftly followed by boss of the house. And she's yelling, this guy's out the front door and gone. And I go, are you all right? What happened? And she said, this fucking guy was shaking hands with doorknobs, and he said that he was in the house to check on the flat that his niece was moving into to see what furniture she'd need. And we're going at 10:30 at night. Yep, we fucking believe that. We fucking so believe that he couldn't, he'd forgotten which number it was. But he had keys, and he was, and I'm going, fucking, this is bullshit. So next day, we find out, yep, the uncle of the girl moving into the flat really did want to come in and find out what furniture she needed. He was legit and had forgotten. And he had just... And he wanted to see because he wanted to set her up. And after this very hostile reception, they decided not to move her in there because, there were girls and guys, frolicking around together. And, I don't know if it was a wholesome environment for a young...
Doesn't sound very wholesome.
And
I also thought, sorry, dude, I just want to go, some stuff that's been happening in chat that I think you'll empathize with. That 80s guy saying, oh, he spent a wee bit of time as a burglar, and locks are a mere inconvenience to someone who practices. And he raised a beer to toast you, and that 80s guy, AIDS knows what you're talking about, is all I'm saying. We're not admitting to any criminal offenses at any point in anyone's life.
Oh, no, 7 years is a lot. A lot of fucking stuff goes beyond, goes out of date at 7 years. A lot of stuff does.
Oh God, your misspent youth was more than 20 years ago. You've been relatively law-abiding for about 20 years.
Relative is a good
there was
word.
that period from your mid-teens to your mid to late 20s, not essentially law-abiding. There was a period that was not essentially law-abiding there.
No. Lucrative? Yes.
Yes. Law-abiding? No. But that's 20 years. 20 years is like,
It's getting close to 30.
Oh, dude, I was being fucking polite. Okay, everyone, AIDS just ruined it. I was trying to say we were both mid-40s, and AIDS just fucking ruined it and said it was actually 30 years
ago. I felt it this week, mate.
I know. Dude, pick up what I'm laying down. Is all I'm saying.
I was trying so hard. Okay. I might have to leave you shortly.
That was the thing. That was the thing. I'm out here casually saying me and AZ our 20s was only 20 years ago, and AZ feels compelled to admit it was 30 years ago. And it's like, oh, fine, dude, fine, whatever. It's good. It's all good in the hood. Yeah, no, the 80s guys are relatively, and again, I feel like 80s
guys, I love ya. I'm gonna see you soon. I might be back tonight, but I might not. Mwah. I'll see you. If I don't see you tonight, I'll see you Thursday. Love you.
All right, peace out, bro. Okay, so AZ's piecing out. All right, I was going to go and take a toilet break, but I won't now because that'll leave the screen empty. That's okay. I just found a drink I really want to make, and it's only Tuesday. And again, I'm not particularly drunk, and so I could possibly afford to make the drink. I don't. Oh, you know what I should do? I should. No, I won't. I probably won't make it tonight. It's on a website where I have an account. I'll add it to my favorites because I really want to try it because it sounds really good. It is essentially a Manhattan variant, and I love a Manhattan. I love just fucking boozy cocktails, quite honestly. So this is doing a split whiskey and rye. Them good old boys, as the Don McLean song says, and then splitting it. What am I saying is essentially it is a Manhattan where you're splitting. A Manhattan is whiskey and sweet vermouth, and this is splitting it between whiskey and rye and sweet vermouth and Punta Mez, which is what's called a full-bodied vermouth, and just putting a little bit of this creme de menthe in. Really fucking tempted to make it tonight, quite honestly, because it sounds really good. But I might save it for Thursday night. We'll see. Okay, Abigail, I think I should. Okay, Abigail's encouraging me to take a toilet break. I feel like putting something. I'm going to put something on screen while I go toilet break. What about this? Okay, it's going to stay there. Death & Co. Okay. Death & Co. placeholder while I take a toilet break. Oh, the Death & Co. book didn't fall over. I'm so relieved the Death & Co. book didn't fall over. We'll bring this up here. Death & Co. back here. And I'm back. All right, half an hour to go. 20 minutes to go. We're all good. So yeah, I found a cocktail I really want to make, but I might wait till Thursday night. Yes. Oh, nice. Safa, you also did a toilet break. Excellent. Yes, Abigail, I did in fact expose my genitals to the air and expelled some urine. I probably could have survived another 20 minutes, but it's fine. I take a whiz now, and then by the time I actually go to bed, I'll be ready to do it again, and then maybe I don't have to get up in the night and do it. Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? Who knows? But yeah. Also, it's probably not showing up on here, but I think it's showing up on my cocktail videos with high resolution. The headgear I wear, my CPAP thing, I sort of tighten the straps on it to get a better seal on it, which has worked. But I feel I'm getting like a little bit of skin abrasion on my cheeks. That because I've got a 4K camera, it's pretty high res. It's sort of showing up on my cheeks. I'm somewhat tempted to get either Mrs. Angry or young Ms. Angry to do a little bit of makeup on me before I do videos for my cocktail channel, just to smooth my skin tones out a bit. Because being a cishet male, I know shit all about makeup. And just because I've got this sort of red skin abrasions from my freaking CPAP machine, and I feel like it shows up. I even after like 15 years of doing YouTube shit, I still get a little bit self-conscious about seeing myself, which is a bit weird. Argue, Kirsten, you got some jerky to snack on. Nice. Not a huge fan of jerky. But I did have an ex who was South African, and I got a little bit into biltong. And speaking of beef jerky, AZ came back.
Yes, your biltong is a fine thing. I like my meat stuck between a horse's bum and smooth saddle suede. If it's not stuck between a horse's bum and smooth saddle suede, I wonder if you care about your meat.
That's true. There's actually, and that also reminded me, I want to say Safa, there are, I think they're the same name, because around the Caulfield area and going a bit further. So I'm in the I don't know what you call it. You talk about yeah. With John Safran called it Jewtown. He has a whole song about it.
Not just
I was trying to think, is the Bible Belt, and with the Russians it's the Borscht Belt. But from like East St Kilda through to even for like the Southland shopping centre, the Coles and stuff has this whole South African kosher section, because you go out a bit further. In East St Kilda, it's like Russian Jews. You go down Carlisle Street, and you'll either hear people speaking Russian, or you'll hear people speaking English with Russian. Thank you, Abigail. The Bagel Belt. That's what people call it. The Bagel Belt.
Yes, they do.
The Bagel Belt. I'm in the middle of the Bagel Belt. East St Kilda, where I used to live, was a lot of Russian Jewish people, and you go a bit further out from me to where the Southland is. It's South African Jewish people, and there's a whole mix. But again, yeah, having had an ex who was South African, I did get a bit of a taste for boerewors and biltong. And
we used to live with a very uptight South African Jewess, and I met her again years later, and she had chilled right the fuck out, and so had I. And we got on like a house on fire. But she started telling me some stories when she was very young, because her dad was a rabbi, and they came out to Australia when she was like 12. And when she was very young and living in South Africa with her parents, one day Mummy did a funny thing. She grabbed a whole bunch of books from the library and from the back room and ran outside and threw them over the back fence the neighbour's yard, and then ran straight back into the house and told the girls to get into their room and start playing with dolls, and shut and and put the candles under the bed. And so she opened the house to she said, I was very young, but I counted like 10, maybe more policemen who were being very rude and throwing things on the floor, and they were looking for something. And later on, the neighbour, who was an extremely black woman, said, darling, you seem to have lost your books over my backyard. I put them in a brown paper bag, and here they are. I can walk away again if you want me to. And he said, darling, please come in. She said, I don't think you're supposed to let me in. He said, are you doing that for me? You are coming in. And I'm making you a cup of tea. No, a cup of coffee. It's a particular way they say coffee. I'm remembering all this because I saw Elysium again last night.
Yes, okay.
Neil Blomkamp did that. Jeez, it's a really underrated movie. It's really very good.
It's okay. It's probably my least favorite Neil Blomkamp film, but then again, I fucking love the other Neil Blomkamp film. So saying it's my least favorite is not.
It's like it was, okay sex. It's like that, right?
Yeah.
I mean, the guy's blown my mind, but this time it was just really good. There was some really lovely turns in it. The superstar actors were really generous with their characters. The way their characters played out was really generous. And of course, Neil Blomkamp, being Neil Blomkamp, said, "Oh, there's a really evil shit in this movie that's horrible. I'll do that. I'm not going to make it. Don't do that. I'll take that one." He does. And I was keen to see an interview with the guy after I watched it again, and they said, "Oh, were you upset with any of Elysium?" He said, "Yes, there was one bit I wasn't very happy with. There's a machine that puts bodies back together. It's basically what the whole thing's built around. The movie's built around, and the bad guy gets his face rebuilt." That's not a spoiler, I promise you. And the trouble is, the face that they made up for the bad guy at the beginning of the movies, he said was wonderful, but his technical director and his effects and setters said the face that he had to have for after fixed up had to look like this, and people go, he looks a bit handsome. He looks actually a bit good. He actually looks a bit cool. And Neil went, no, he's got to look horrible and ugly and terrible. And it's like, well, it doesn't work that way. It's and so for about 5 minutes of the movie, it kind of looks pretty good, and then they stuff that up again.
But he works with Weta, and when, like, particularly the two superlative Neil Blomkamp films, District 9 and Chappie. But the aliens in District 9, I never thought they were computer generated. I always thought they were there. And Chappie the robot, I just always thought they were there. I never thought they were computer generated.
But then I found out they were Weta. And they were Weta because Jackson said, you know what, I like this film. I'm going to put money into it.
Yeah.
And
I've seen a Neil Blomkamp short film. I'm not sure what it was, but somehow Weta went, no, we're working with this guy.
Yes. And so Jackson said, no, I'm going to put a bit of money this guy's way because he's good. I like him. He's good. And, of course, District 9 goes nuts. Like, it costs not so much to make, but it goes nuts, right, at the box office. So Jackson, again, has a major blockbuster. Fucking shoveling cash into his already slightly cashed up world. Like a bit of Midas. I think I'll touch this and turn it into brilliance, and a bit of this and turn it into gold, and a bit of that. He should touch me anywhere he wants.
Oh yeah. I also, sorry, I just want to go. Speaking of South Africa, Kirsten, being a South African, mentioned that there was fabulous South African shop down my. There's actually 2 South African shops, and I forgot. I got sidetracked. I wanted to say to Safa, one of them's used South African slang. It's called the Safa shop. It's SAFFA rather than SA, and that's self-referential slang. And that's why I just want to bring it up. There's a shop near me called the Safa shop. So that's it. That's. But yeah, Seslavai, I guess, is all there is.
Yeah. Just want to put in my vote for Love Mel Blomkamp.
Yeah. Oh, he's got. I haven't watched it yet. Netflix has just put up some stuff, some experimental short films from Neil Blomkamp that has people like Sigourney Weaver in it. And I haven't watched it yet.
For this because I've got a slightly dodgy copy of Netflix. Very mildly dodgy.
Mildly dodgy.
I think you'll find that I'm a registered user. Proper. Slightly dodgy, and I've seen ads for it. It looks fucking awesome.
And it's called
Sigourney Weaver in the ad picture for it, and whoever's done the photography has it just takes you away. It's basically it's immediate dystopia. Sigourney fucking Weaver, you know, she's hot.
I know, right?
She's 60, but she's hot, right?
Yeah.
And how do you make Sigourney Weaver look like dystopia? Get Neil Blomkamp. I also like Neil Blomkamp.
Okay. So no spoilers, Abigail, because I haven't seen it. Megaleech says it's cool. Abigail was slightly disappointed with the end. But to me, I just saw it and said, Netflix, it seems to me Netflix have literally gone to Neil Blomkamp. We will give you this pile of money, do literally whatever you want.
Just make it.
Just go.
Just whatever you need to do, bro. Neil's also got this really cool thing where he goes to places and hires people who don't usually get hired. Like this time he did mostly in Soweto with locals. Paid them proper Hollywood money.
Yes, you'll notice District 9 and Chappie, mostly South African. Chappie's got Hugh Jackman and what's his face, the English Indian actor, who does the best Australian accent I've ever heard a non-Australian do. But he's the sympathetic protagonist in Chappie. He's the computer scientist who actually designs the AI that becomes Chappie. But he did a film called an Australian film called Lion, which was based on a true story, Indian orphan kid who got adopted by Australians and happily brought up by this Australian family, and then in his 20s started to feel this weird sort of dissociative thing, like, I need to know, I have vague memories of what happened, or he had very specific memories of what happened. And he said, I remember I lived in this... Yeah, I lived in this village, but how I remember the village name doesn't show up on any maps. And then I went to this train station, which doesn't show up on any maps. So my childhood memory is wrong. And his girlfriend, I think his Aussie girlfriend, went, have you seen Google Maps? Just look on a map of India until you recognize something. And he did, and he fucking worked out what his home village was and what the train station was that he went, and he went and found his birth mother. And it was just like, and again, astonishing film. And anyway, this dude, he's an, I think, English-born of Indian extraction actor, and he's playing a guy who was raised in Australia. He does the best Australian accent of a non-Australian actor I have ever heard. He's hard to do. Dev Patel. I just remembered his name. Dev Patel, who has done a whole. He's done a whole session.
Fucking lose my mind because it was sitting there. And I was going, come on, drop it.
Dev Patel's done a whole bunch of good stuff, and absolutely left field. I love it when something absolutely left field shows up in the chat. Kirsten's laughing because there's a zero alcohol gin has been recalled because of microbial contamination. And she goes, no chance of microbial contamination if it's over 37% alcohol.
No.
that's killing all the nasties.
I am fucking loving the fact that a 0% alcohol got fucking microbial infection, because fuck you. If you're going to have an alcohol, don't make it Clayton's, make it an alcohol. Like, if you don't want to drink alcohol, don't drink fucking alcohol. I have my Hitler drink, and I have my Vietnam drink. Where do you think most coffee is grown, Angry?
Traditionally, now where it is now, I'm not sure, but traditionally, most of it came from South America.
And
where does most of it come from now?
Vietnam. Vietnam is where most of the coffee in the world comes from.
Right. Yeah, okay, it's the right temperate climate. Yeah.
Yeah, the Vietnamese government took a punt on, because they needed to fucking start, because China turned around and said, yeah, we're getting the money thing. We're not going to be so much just throwing cash at your government anymore. And Vietnam went, oh, that'll be us spending 50 years throwing the capitalists out of our country with your help, saying that we were in this together, and you're now saying maybe a mistake there. And the Chinese have gone, yeah, we're China. We don't tend to brook any arguments.
Yeah.
And Vietnam went, yep, no, take your point. And they've gone to, Pepsi fucking wrote in and said, do you want a bottler? And Vietnam went, oh, yes, we do. And other companies sort of wrote in and went, do you want her? And Vietnam's gone, yes, sort of. And then they took a punt on this coffee planters from Holland. And it wasn't Dowag, but it was, they were attached to them. And they went and did a test plot in the 1970s, 80s, mid-1980s, and it was just the yield was just incredible. And so they said, we will put so many people to work, and we will put so much money into infrastructure and put so much fucking work under you, and ships will come in and go. And Vietnam was going, we think you're lying, but and they did, and they weren't. And Vietnam said, do you want more land for coffee? And they kept on going, yes. And they kept on saying,
they make lots of coffee.
And they kept on going, yes. And so apparently a shitload of people got jobs. There's a lot of money in town, and coffee is kind of cool. If you go and say, oh, coffee sucks, the piano stops playing and everyone at the bar looks at you, hands go to the waist. Vietnam is very happy with their coffee friends. They've used some of the coffee because they get royalties from the coffee crop, which is one of the deals. The government gets straight out royalties because they wanted a kickback, but they wanted to make not a kickback because they didn't want the World Bank coming, well, we can have all our money back now because you're corrupt. Because they saw that happening all over Burma and bloody Thailand, and they're going, fuck, what are we going to do? And the Australian miners said, fucking ask for royalties. It's your land, you can ask for royalties. And they said, okay, we'll get royalties. And the coffee companies went, yep, we'll do that. And it was legit and all on paper, and everyone was happy. And of course, they put more coffee and there's more royalties, and they cut a percentage of the royalties out. And this is how I know all this, to get Australian deminers, they go into plots of land and they pick out mines that have been left there after wars.
Oh, right. That's what you meant by deminers. I didn't know what, I thought that was a musical thing. But sorry, I know you're in the middle of something, but I'm also about to go away, and I did want to address a couple of things. I do actually side a bit with Abigail about not being quite as negative towards non-alcoholic stuff as AZ. I'm not drinking it myself. Abigail points out a friend managed to deal with alcoholism thanks to non-alcoholic wine. But I do fall very soundly on what Kirsten said, because there are a bunch of non-alcoholic spirits now, stuff that's designed to taste like spirits, and it's meant to taste like gin and whiskey and rum and all these things, but it's not alcoholic. I agree with Kirsten. That shouldn't be over $50 at Dan Murphy's, because anyone who's involved in the alcohol industry in Australia knows well over half the cost is alcohol-based taxed. So why the fuck is something that has no alcohol expensive? But I reckon I've worked that out. What it is the impression of value. If they sold it for $20, it would be regarded as cheap and nasty. I think it's actually psychological marketing. But I have no solid facts to base that on. But I think it's solid.
It's the Chinese strategy behind e-cigarettes. What they've done is they make them, but they export them all to America, get them badged over there, and then import them back because their people won't buy Chinese-made e-cigarettes, but they will buy American-made e-cigarettes because they're cool. And China is trying to stop its population from smoking cigarettes because they got shown their cancer bill for 2040 and lost their fucking minds.
Yes, the medical costs for that population would be huge.
Insane. I was just finishing off with it. They spend some of their royalty money on getting there's now 6 Australian demining teams that go right round Southeast Asia to all those nasty wars that got forgotten. There's so much arable land that is untouchable because there's mines all through it. And mines are great. You can put them in and then fucking walk away. Who gives a shit? Maybe the kid on crutches does. Maybe it does, maybe the only cow that you've got does. Anyway, so they're all ex-army, and they want to do something good with their life, so they take out mines, and this money goes to, them to do this and get better techniques and train the locals how to do it, and it's slow work. And if you want to donate to them, look up Deminers Australia, and got a website, and they would appreciate your dough.
That's a good one. Just approaching Brett. I did want to say, I felt compelled to look up about coffee producers. Brazil is still number 1. Vietnam's number 2. And what really surprised me, Indonesia's number 4. So there you go. So it's split between South America.
Let's stop chopping down palm. And they said, well, what are we going to do? And they said, try coffee. People drink it.
It's split between South America and Southeast Asia. So
huge next is chocolate, because all the African chocolate plantations are getting diseased, and there's going to be a chocolate shortage in 2030.
Okay. And sorry, Left Wing Dork Suck. Which country is the largest producer of alcohol? It's China, by a long way.
Then Russia.
No, not even close.
Really?
Then the US, then Brazil, and then Mexico.
Of course, because Brazil and Mexico fucking run their cars on it.
Yeah. So anyway, that's a little bit of trivia to end the stream on, and we hope you enjoyed our typical wide-ranging conversation.
Indeed. And you should subscribe to Angry because he's really nice.
And don't bother to subscribe. Anyone who's here is probably subscribed to this. Anyone who's here who has an interest in cocktails, you should go subscribe to Angry Cocktails. Only if you're interested in cocktails, though. Because I put stuff up. Tomorrow is going to be my a short. The YouTube, you maybe don't know this, YouTube has a thing called Shorts. They're trying to compete with TikTok and shit. Less than 60-second videos. So I've got a short going live tomorrow, making an apple teeny with my homemade sour apple liqueur.
What would I do for a short? Do you think I could do it?
Probably. And you have to shoot it. It's got to be less than 60 seconds and shot vertical. It's meant to be viewed on phones, basically.
Okay.
So it's got to be shot. It's got to be shot vertically. So if you do something with your phone that goes less than 60 seconds, you can upload that to YouTube as a short. And Left Wing Dork Suck. Okay, so Idiot Boy has deleted some videos. Well, you know, I hope that's a sign of growth and maturity on his part, because he finally realized being obsessed with me was really fucking sad and pathetic. But who knows? Who knows?
I'm obsessed with you, big guy.
But that's different.
Pathetic. True. But
with this guy, but no, this guy, it's a repressed sexual obsession. With you, it's an open and extroverted sexual obsession. Yeah,
open. So, and I've said that I will pay you for a bit of, you know, I will. Yeah. As long as you wear the clothes. You wear the clothes.
That's the thing, yeah. So, anyway, bedtime. So I'm watching some TV tomorrow night. I'll probably do a live stream on Thursday night, you know, which is virtually the weekend, so we might party a bit. Who knows? Who knows? Anything could happen. Who knows? Yeah, I don't know what that move is. That's a Gen X thing. I don't know. Bridgie did. So going to bed now. So you'll take care.